Hey guys, it's Angie Atkinson, and today at QueenBeing.com we're going to discuss narcissists and the false self. We're going to learn about the true face of a narcissist. Let's get started. All right, so let's do it. Let's discuss the true face of a narcissist. We're going to start right here. Why do I still feel like I love him? She is so awful. What makes me think she's ever going to change? He abuses me constantly, but I still feel like I want to be with him. These statements have all been made to me repeatedly by people who are involved in toxic relationships with narcissists. Okay. Often I hear my clients lamenting the loss of their narcissist. Not the toxic person they currently know, of course, but the person they thought they'd known, the person they believed they were involved with. And it's become such a regular thing that I thought it was time to address the issue. Okay. So I want to start by talking about why there's so much confusion in toxic relationships. Okay. So essentially, because the narcissist hides behind a sort of armor that's really just the false self of the narcissist, he or she fools you very early on in the relationship. Usually, your initial impression of the narcissist has probably been a very good one. And that's because, of course, he or she showed you only the best parts of him or of themselves when they met you, and they constructed this series of group of qualities and traits that they actually present to the world as their true self, but that's not who they really are, and you find that out very quickly. However, they do make it really hard to see who they are because, you know, they leave you stuck deciding, well, you know, am I really with this sweet and charming person that I thought I had, the person I signed up for? Or, was the wool pulled over my eyes? And the real him or her is actually the toxic, abusive, insulting, and manipulative narcissist that you're now dealing with, you know? And this is unfortunately incredibly common. Okay, of course this leads you to a serious kind of mental torture, and it causes you to literally be at odds with yourself inside your own head. It's called cognitive dissonance. Okay, I've actually made a video about that before, but anyway, you're trying to reconcile the illusion that you initially were presented with by the narcissist, and you're trying to reconcile that with the person that you're now looking at and dealing with. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde situation, right? So in a lot of cases, you do have to, and in order to cope with the mess that you're dealing with, you're gonna start trying to improve yourself. Well, what can I do to be better? Can I lose weight? Can I stop being so controlling, by the way, which a lot of victims say, "Oh gosh, I'm so controlling. I don't know why." But the fact is, you're not controlling. You're just freaking out because every time you turn around, your reality is showing you something different than what you're actually experiencing. And so, so you may be presenting a perfect front for family members and friends just because that's what you expect to be able to do, or your narcissist expects you to do, or you just don't want to explain yourself over and over again. But, you know, and so your head gets clouded. The narcissist is right in there, beating it into you that there's something wrong with you, that you're the problem, not him, blah blah blah, or her. But in reality, you've done nothing wrong. You don't have anything that you necessarily need to change. Maybe you want to change something about yourself, but that doesn't mean that you should for the narcissist. Okay. The fact is you're probably not the issue at all. The fact is that you're just subconsciously trying to uphold that initial impression that you had of the narcissist, the image of that false self that was presented to you during that, during the image of his false self is crumbling for you during the devaluation phase, right? But when you were initially in the love bombing or the hoovering phases or whatever, you absolutely were presented with a false self. And that's the self that you might still be in love with, or the self that you can't stop thinking about and remembering. Of course, by the time you get to that inevitable discard phase, which is, also like the devalue phase, inevitable for a narcissistic person to it's a cycle like the beat, it must go on, but you'll be treated to glimpses of that truly ugly face for the first time that it happens to you. And it's this ugly face that spews out cruel and painful poison, and it causes you to lose literally like all faith in yourself. and sometimes even in God or the universe or whatever you believe in. And it's like faster than you can say boo. Okay? You see the coldness, you see the callous indifference, and all of this, leads to what feels like absolute torture to you when they pull themselves away, when they discard you. Okay. And while your first reaction, now you may be discarded and then picked right back up if you've married 100 years and, and every freaking weekend you start to think that you're about to get a divorce or that you're a terrible person or whatever, then obviously this is a cycle that's happening in your life. Well, your first reaction when it first happens is probably that, oh, everyone has a bad time, a bad moment. It was real stressful. This happened. That's not who he or she really is. The truth is, that's probably the closest you're ever going to come to actually seeing the narcissist's true self. Okay? It's about time. This is about the time that you start to recognize that that amazingly charming and engaging or otherwise awesome person that you got involved with, that you fell in love with or in like with in the first place, is gone, and suddenly you're going to see this horrible contempt for you that that the narcissist is carrying around. And about the time you realize that this is how they've really felt all along, your heart breaks a little more, if that's possible. At this point, you're probably already very heartbroken. But what you have to realize here is that none of it's really your fault. Okay. In reality, narcissists are not capable of feeling genuine love for any other person on the planet, not even themselves, if we're being realistic here. But they just use people to meet their own selfish needs. And, once they exhaust one source of supply, it's on to the next. And guess what? That's like, oh, super exciting for them because narcissists love new and exciting things. And that's why they cheat on you. And that's why they do all the things they do to hurt you, because you're not a person to them. You're an object. It's a fact. So you can't let yourself believe in that magical connection that you thought you had. And that's the hard part for everyone. It's just part of the narcissistic cycle. It's an illusion, just like the narcissist's actual identity is. Okay? So now that you know all of this, what are you going to do with it? Well, you're going to start by picking up little pieces of yourself that have been falling off along the way. All right? And you're going to start that healing process. You go forward, you go no contact or low contact if you're forced to deal with him, because like if they're your boss or your co-parent and you have no choice but to deal with them. But you have to most importantly, you have to remember this is not your fault. You are not to blame. You have been used as a pawn in a narcissist game. Oh, wow, that rhymes. But anyway, it's legit, okay? Maybe that is your mantra as you get through this. I'm not to blame. I was used in a narcissist game, because I promise you that is what has happened to you if you are in this position right now, okay? That's all I've got for today. I would love to know, what have your experiences been when it comes to the narcissist in your life, and how he or she presented himself to you or herself to you in the first place. I'd like to know, what did you initially see, and then what came the reality? When did reality hit? What did reality look like? Share your thoughts and experiences with me in the comments section, and let your fellow victims know that they're not alone. All right. I'd really love to discuss it with you. Thank you very much for listening. And if you need additional help or information regarding narcissism and narcissistic abuse recovery, you can visit queenbeing.com, and you will be able to just look at everything for free there, download whatever you want. It's a pretty basic thing. Everything is what it is. You can also visit narcissismsupportcoach.com for my free 5-day email course. And you can set up one-on-one coaching with me by also visiting narcissismsupportcoach.com or emailing my assistant slash office manager. Her name is Haley. She's amazing. I love her. At haleyhelp, the number 4, the letter U, haleyhelp4u at gmail.com. I'll throw that on the screen for you as well right there. Okay. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Thank you.